Hey guys, what is going on? Sharp Thinking here. So, a while back, I did a video on the American Blade Works Model 1. I got a couple of requests in my comments section to do an update video on the knife. I held off because there is an entirely new version of the knife out. And I have to say, this this is good. This is like really getting good right now. Um, Everything that was a problem on the knife has been fixed. It is. I really like it. The design is exceptionally well done, which I said in the first video. It wasn't executed perfectly. This is much, much, much better. Um, the action on even the old version and this one, absolutely incredible. It is something else. I'm not a big action guy. Like really, I don't care at the end of the day. But this thing is nuts. And the detent has been improved on this. The bearings feel much smoother than they did on the previous model. Before I get into any of the details, I guess we'll do a size comparison. So here it is against a Chris Reeve Umnumzon. Here it is against a Sabenza 21. Get some Microtechs out next. Here it is against the SOCOM Elite, I should say. Here it is against the LUDT. What else do we have? Here it is against the XM18 and the Strider SNG. Here it is against the Spyderco Military and the Spyderco Native 5. And then, what else do we have? Kershaw Blair, Microtech Stitch. Not that this is a great size comparison because it's not a very common knife. And then last but not least, what I think this knife could potentially compete with, North Arm Skaha 2. Very similar lines, different enough that, I mean, it's obviously not a copy or a clone. It's hard to make a completely original design. It's almost impossible. Almost every design is piggybacking off of something, and that goes for almost all manufacturers, I would say. So, what has been changed about this knife? We'll start with the blade. The previous version was ground. This isn't quite a full flat. It still has a little flat portion up here. So I guess technically it's a partial flat or a saber. But the old version was closer to like a Spyderco Endura saber ground. It was very steep and it was very thick behind the edge. This is actually pretty thin behind the edge. It feels to be about the same as like a PM2, a little bit thinner than a PM2 down here. Actually, a pretty good amount thinner down here. Up here, it feels like a PM2, which a lot of knives tend to thicken up kind of by the tip. What else is different? Pivot is no longer free spinning. I never had any issues with the pivot spinning. But I do like this. I like that he moved the emblem from right here on the blade to the pivot. I think it's classy. I always like kind of touches on hardware. I actually like the Microtech hardware. I think it looks cool. So I'm a big fan of this. This pivot used to be a spanner number 2 or 4. I can't remember. Now it's a T10, I believe. What else is different? The lockup. Oh, that's some good lockup right there. It's much more secure, no side to side. Maybe a little bit of up and down. No. No, this one feels solid. When I first opened it, there was a little bit up and down, but seems to be breaking in quite nicely. So yeah, a version I had prior to this had lockup that was maybe like this, about it was maybe 5% lockup. It was very early. This is a steel liner. If it's 5% with a steel liner, and you put any sort of negative force on the blade, this is going to shut. That's going to happen with most knives, titanium or steel, doesn't matter. So I had issues with lock failure on the first version. I have spine whacked this, it did not fail. Much better. Such a relief to see. I have a feeling that my version was kind of a lemon, honestly. But yeah, moving on to the clip. We had some problems with the clip. The clip sucked. It was really bad. We had some issues with screws going on. Now this clip, while not perfect, is actually extremely functional. I did carry this knife for a little bit, and I have to say, I like it. I like it a lot. Ergonomically, this is a big step up from the spring clip. Typically what you'll find, or at least what I find with these milled titanium clips, is that they are much more ergonomic. You don't really pick up on them when you're holding the knife. It just kind of blends in. One issue with the clip, and it's not really even an issue, it's just a minor annoyance. Tappy clip. So when we turn it sideways, which, oh, that was some bad stick. Maybe it's just the way I did it. I don't know. So we turn it sideways, and you can see it almost looks like the clip was milled down on purpose. So what I've found is, even though this is kind of odd to see at first, it's actually not, it doesn't affect the function of the knife at all. It retains really well in jeans, sweatpants, shorts. I've tried, a large variety of pants, and it retains in all of them. A bathing suit, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, it's a good clip. I think some people might not like that it sticks up a little bit. We had problems with the screws. The screws are now flush with the handle. So nice to see. I cannot wait to carry this guy more. The steel on it. Oh, yeah, I talked about the blade a little bit already. The steel on it is still S35VN. No objections to that. I did sharpen it. This is like a 600 grit edge. It's not like, it is a 600 grit edge. And then I'm just going to strop it before I go to bed. Handle screws, still the same, very high quality. They feel like ProTech screws, if you guys are familiar with ProTech or you've owned them. I know most people are familiar with ProTech. It's just a matter of if you've disassembled one. Centering is good. I've noticed that the pivot tends to come out. I play with this thing nonstop. It is so much fun. And I'm really not like that normally. It's just not something I really do. Normally I keep my knife in my pocket all day, and then when I need to use it, I take it out. I don't really like play around with knives too much, unless I'm in the car. But this I'll just walk around the house and just, play around with. So ball bearings have been improved. They used to be a little gritty. Now it feels very smooth. The detent has been improved as well. So you can hear. It's got great sound to it. I've heard people talk about that before. It doesn't make a difference to me. I like this knife for the design, not because it's a fun knife to play with, but it is a really fun knife to play with. I can't deny that. But yeah, I cannot wait to really put this guy through its paces and see what it's made out of. But yeah, major shout out to Michael Martin for improving the design. I think this is so much better. And I know that he has G10 versions that have beautiful G10 handles, sculpted, multi-layer G10 coming out soon. They might be prototypes. I don't know. I don't know if there's, production issues with them. But yeah, very, very excited to see how those turn out. I'm definitely going to have to pick one up. But yeah, it's just to me, I love being part of like the first couple of knives that a manufacturer makes or somebody makes because like with Hinderer, where's my Hinderer? This is the Gen 6. Like there were folding knives he made before the Gen 1, you know? We only got to see what was, you know, we didn't really get to see the full growth progression from, and like Rick. And that's the case with a lot of manufacturers and knife designers. So I just think it's cool to like just be in with the company early, just to experience the early designs. It's not something I've gotten to do before. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, this is so much better than the old one. I have to say, I really like it. It's got the captured like stop pin, so there's no stop pin back here. I don't think that should be the cause of any issues. Flipper feels pretty good. Doesn't really interfere with ergonomics at all. You can choke up on it and grip the knife like this. That's something I would probably really do. I know some people would not want to do that. I don't really see it as being an issue because we have a little sharpening choil there. But yeah, all in all, love it. It's not really so. If you compare it to a knife like this, it's not really as polished and as shiny and pretty. Um, but the design is there, and like you can improve the materials and you can improve like little small details, but the lines are here. This is a very functional design, and it's actually functional as a cutting tool now. So that's got me excited enough to be 100% in on this. And yeah, I don't know. I like it. I ever since I saw the knife, I really kind of fell in love with it for some reason. Um, yeah, it would be cool to see different patterns, like maybe an American flag somewhere on here. I don't know. Not as like a permanent version, but just as like kind of a maybe like throwback here or something. I don't know. I'm starting to ramble, so I guess I'll end the video here. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you again, Michael Martin and American Blade Works. I don't know if you have any more employees, Michael. I know that this is like still an early stage in the company. But yeah, this is awesome. I really like it. Um, so yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.